you know the guy that rented the plane to bring Imam Khomeini back. He spent about $2 million, you know, and he would come to Juma and he'd have a place.
That's coming in off the Brothers Night, so I guess that's the program they're running. I'm assuming. I don't. Sure. Stop. Oh, okay. That's why he muted himself. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's what he did. All right.
Oh, okay.
But I guess the clip's still playing. Yeah, I'll have to figure out a way to, when we do these type of Zoom calls, just stream it directly to our social medias. Because, I got a text message from Sean. Asking me, hey, it's not, it's not live on Facebook. Text like, yeah, different setup tonight.
Good. Seeing what I'm seeing,
Oh,
kind of boring.
yeah, it will be kind of boring.
You know, if people,
Because, yeah, they don't have everything in Zoom.
yeah.
Like, it's like they're using Zoom for the video conferencing, and then they got some other software, I'm assuming, to cut in the other video content. And so we can't see it because we're on the Zoom side, but I guess they're in viewers,
Right.
see it.
So the majority of the people are seeing everything.
Yeah, they're seeing like,
Just us, we're not seeing it.
right, because we're part of the program, we
Because we're
can't
part
see
of the
it.
program.
We can't see the full.
No, that's fine. We just cruise right along.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask them at the end, where, hopefully.
Nice to meet. Changing direction to Washington, D.C. Imam Musa, we're back with you again. Going back to the second questions I asked Said Abbas earlier, what do you think of the differences between Islamic revolution and other revolutions? Differences that made the 1979 revolution special compared to other revolutions? Thanks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all other revolutions, Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui wrote a great series of books, and I remember about 74, he's the first one that talked about the kind of revolutions and the kind of changes of government, post-colonial governments that they were having. And he referred to those as nationalistic type of, and he's the first one that we begin to hear about Islamic transformation. Okay, so the revolution in Iran, I just read what Imam Khomeini said here. He says, rid yourselves of depression and apathy. Improve your methods and programs of propagation. Try diligently to present Islam accurately and resolve to establish an Islamic government. Assume the lead and join hands with the freedom-loving people. An Islamic government will be established. Have confidence in yourselves. You have the power, courage, and sense of strategy needed to struggle for liberty and independence. You who have succeeded in waking the people and inspiring them to struggle will cause imperialism and tyranny to tremble. Day by day, you are accumulating more experience, and your ability to deal with the affairs of society is increasing. Once you have succeeded in overthrowing tyranny, you will certainly be capable of administering the state and guiding the people. This was a message from Imam Khomeini in the early days, and he was saying, get rid of your apathy. Get rid of those self-imposed, stickable ideas that prevent you from moving forward, that prevent you from lifting yourself up, that prevent you from leading yourself. So it says, rid yourselves of depression, because you have to remember that that time and that period in the 1970s, we had been liberated from colonialism, and all we got was dictators and more kings and potentates and robbers. By 1979, we didn't have anything relating to a successful transformation of a satisfied government as far as we was concerned. And now here come Imam Khomeini, and he tell the people, get rid of your apathy. Lose your apathy. Get your stuff together as far as propagating the reality of Islam. Because Islam itself is a liberating force. Islam itself means to liberate. When one of the personalities went, in fact, it was to Persia at the beginning of Islam. And he told the guy when they came to Persia, to Iran, he said, I came and I brought a religion to release man from the servitude of mankind to the servitude of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, this is not for land, right? This is not for land. This is for true liberation. Hurriyat, liberation, has something to do with freeing the human being up till they can strive and elevate themselves to any level they want. This is what the message of Imam Khomeini was saying. Have confidence in yourself. And then he went on to say, join with the other peoples, the other freedom people around the world. In those days, now you got to remember, most people wanted a nationalistic revolution, a communist revolution, a socialist revolution, right? They were not talking about an unhinged revolution, that it was not just tied to these other human passing by ways of life, but to the eternal Islam. And then he said, you got to remember, before I forget, Imam Khomeini, when he was in Najaf, his books on revolution, or his book on Islam and revolution, was listed in a collection of books in Najaf called Kutub ad-Dalala, misguided books. Imam Khomeini was a special personality in Najaf. And his ideas were so liberating that only a few people there, right, that was able to grasp what he was talking about. And even today, there are many people who don't understand this concept that Imam, he didn't bring this concept, but he kind of revived it, pulled pieces together, and then he said, this is it. Wilayati Faqih. Wilayati Faqih, look, let me tell you, that was a saving force. What does this say? This is from the front page of the newspaper in Iran. Wilayati Faqih, of course y'all read Farsi, okay, but it's saying Wilayati Faqih is a protection, right, against world domination. That's as close as I can get, I mean. But that's what it is. And they put that on the front page. We gave a lecture there in Iran at the university, and the people kind of understood it and liked it. but we have to kind of get back to people before we leave. I want to say that we have to get back to the concept that Imam Khomeini brought. Wilayat Faqih, the leadership of the just jurisprudent. In other words, someone who revived, renewed, and restored Islam to its pristine, clean, wholesome, and healthy manner. It wasn't they had books in those days, Islam and socialism. It's not no socialistic revolution. It's an Islamic revolution brought by an Islamic personality. Okay, so we, at that time, was being able to look and see, man, you mean the Quran has all these evolutionary and revolutionary processes, and if we stick to that, we don't have to stick to black nationalism, white nationalism, Persian nationalism, like the Tudeh Party or like the Communist Party or all this stuff that you know who the Munafiqeen was talking about. But anyway, let me get back to the matter. Here's what we're trying to say. Wilayat Faqih is a protection for the Ummah. Like the ayats that I read first, is a protection for the Ummah. Wahda, unity. And it says that you should stick to your unity, right? And solidarity, or it use the word, the ayats use the word rihukum. That means the winds. If you go into division and you stray away from the path and you begin to think my little corner or my little group or my organization is superior and better than everybody else, and you begin to push this one away and bring this one closer because that's the one you like, the wind, rihukum, will go out of your sails. Right? That's what it means, rihukum. That's why the ayat is structured in this way. When it uses the word riyad, that stands for power. Your power will depart. And then it goes, watiullah wa rasuluhu wa la tanazzahu fatafshadu wa tadhaba rihukum. And obey Allah and obey the messenger and fall into no disputes. This stuff, what made the revolution in Iran what it is wilayat faqih. Don't make no mistake about it. Wilayat faqih. Okay, I don't want to seem to get upset about this subject, but there are people drifting around and there's things are drifting out of their mouth that, yes, walaya, but what is this wilayat faqih they're saying? No, it's wilayat faqih. What's protected the Islamic Republic of Iran? You know the Islamic Republic of Iran? Man, it had not only a war, you know, and in that war, all of the world was in that 1980, 1988. The whole world was on one side. The whole world was on one side and Iran on others. A little different now. Iran has a few friends here and there, but in those days, everybody was lined up on one side with America. They had T-72 tanks from Russia, right? They had Exocet missiles from France, right? They had $50 billion from Saudi Arabia, $33 billion from Kuwait or one of those crews. Okay, so they had satellite imagery that could read a license plate from outer space, piping the troop movements of Iran and showing Iraq how, where, and how to hide their people. Here's poison gas. Iran never used poison gas. They used poison gas on Iranians, and not only that, Imagine, you know the temperature in Iraq and around Basra and all that, and in the summertime is 120, 125. You know what they did with these plastic uniforms? Took them off and threw them. They couldn't wear them. They couldn't wear them. It was worse. It was easier for them to face poison gas. Think about it. If any of you have ever been covered up with hot plastic in the middle of the summer, I'm talking about 120, 115 a cool day, 125, and they did it. I'm telling you, I want to say this to the people of Iran. There was some concepts at the beginning of the revolution. Exporting the revolution, you know, not like Hadrat and Sadrat, import and export, but to spread the revolution throughout the world. One of the concepts, Mark Bag America, death to America. Well, wake up everybody and have a look around. Have you seen what's been going on in America since the revolution? And now it's picking up speed. America is having the second round of fitna, and the President of the United States is on trial for calling the people downtown to rebel against a decision that everybody agrees that the so-called American people made. That means there's an implosion. There's a rebellion against itself. Right? Mark Bag America, when this revolution happened in Iran, America was on top in economy, education, everything. Now it's number 50 something in education. Look, the schools is falling down. America, you're talking about, you don't have to say Mark Bag America anymore, because America has died a long time ago. And now it's in the final throes of death. Everything that we talked about, we got it. Death to America. America's died. But remember, it was never death to the American people. It was death to the American system of oppression that the world is tired of. It ain't just you and me. Venezuela is tired of it. Africa is tired of it. Asia is tired of it. Europeans is tired of it. Right? Death to America. All of Europe done run off and said, America, you go on about your business. Right? We tired of you, man. And China, they done built that Belt and Road Initiative. Look at here. The Chinese always had a saying, you know, look, America is surrounded and confounded and dumbfounded. America is finished. When we say America now, we're not talking about the people, we're talking about the power, the majesty, the ability of America. They had this so-called treaty, 2015, and Iran followed everything to the letter. And America said, well, we don't care, we quit. We don't want to be bothered with y'all. We're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. But it's not Iran that's having disturbances every day. Nobody's going downtown Tehran, right, to tear down nothing. Nobody's on trial in Tehran today. Everybody that's on trial right here in America. Who is it? Big Don. Oh, Don, we like Don. Whatever you say. We knew the day he came in there, I don't want to stray off the subject, but we knew the day he was in there, he was going to put icing on the cake of the decline and fall of American power. And all the message to all the believers, supporters of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and supporters of the Imams, and supporters of all the good, beautiful Islamic history this is the time Imam Khomeini brought that in. And he gave the people the ability to have stickability, the ability to hold on. Iran right now has every sanction on it that's ever been thought of, plus, and it's still there. You got to remember what you've done. See, this anniversary, 42nd anniversary, hey, I remember on the 2nd and 3rd anniversary, we were still looking around. It's still here. It was a shock. By the 7th anniversary, we were starting to feel like, yeah, man, this here, you never know, you know. I mean, we always had hope and fire and energy, but I'm telling you, the Islamic revolution has been here for 42 years, and there's no sign of it going away. The only signs that we see is America, the system of America. Mark America. You said it so long that it...
Thank you so much.
Yes, I thank you too.
So let's see a mini clip and we'll be back again.
He said he's gonna see a mini.
Let's see a mini clip and we'll be back again.
Okay.
Go ahead.
A mini
Clip.
Oh, mini clip, okay. Well, I didn't mean to ramble, but
That wasn't rambling, yeah, that wasn't rambling. That wasn't rambling.
no, I'm
That was not rambling.
well,
It's good. You know, sometimes sometimes people don't know what they've accomplished, you know?
oh no, the people of Iran, they don't know, they don't technically know what they have done and what they're doing.
Right.
They don't understand that, maybe people haven't.
Thank you so much, Imam Musa. I appreciate it. You can go ahead and continue addressing your speech, and then at the end, I think we have till 8:30. That is end of the program. So if you would continue finishing answering the questions, and at the end, if you would please share some of your memories from early '79 when the revolution happened with our audience, we will appreciate. Thanks.
Okay, so, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The last time that I was in the Islamic Republic, I want to give an idea, an overview of the message that I gave at that time inside of Iran. And